Bulelani Phillip is an SABC News Parliamentary reporter, and he joins us now to look ahead to the budget speech by Finance Minister Enoch Godongwana. A very good day to you, Bulelani. What's happening on your side?
Well, a good day to you, Desiree, and to the viewers at home. Of course, there's a lot of anticipation, both outside as well as inside here in the parliamentary precinct. Of course, some political parties have been going into this budget speech saying what they expect from the finance minister's maiden budget speech is that they want him to ensure that there is a job creation, infrastructure development, as well as a poverty alleviation. I'm going to bring into this conversation the spokesperson of the Freedom Front Plus, Mr. Wouter Wessels, who speaks on finance matters in that party. Good afternoon and welcome to the show.
Thank you so much.
Firstly, as the FF Plus, what are your expectations of the speech?
Well, exactly what you now said. We need economic growth. And to get economic growth, the President also said it in his State of the Nation address, we need the private sector. But then the Minister today have to create a conducive environment for the private sector to get the economy going and to create jobs. And that will entail tax relief rather than any tax increases. So if there's any form of personal income tax increases or company tax increases, then that will be detrimental. We will not see economic growth. We will see job losses. So we at this stage need the opposite. We need tax relief to get the economy going. And then you will have to take a very firm stance also on government spending. And you will have to take a stance on the inflated government wage bill, and especially the increases that he now approved for senior management, which is unaffordable. Those salaries are already too high, and now there's more increases to that has been approved. So he can't just pay lip service to getting the wage bill under control. He will have to take a firm stance and explain how the government wage bill will be contained.
Talking about some parties, they have been calling for what is called the basic income grant. As the FF Plus, would you support that kind of move?
Well, South Africa is in trouble. We are in a financial crisis, in an economic crisis. People are poor. Hunger at this stage in South Africa is at an all-time high of 40%. 40% of South Africans are suffering from hunger. That is terrible. So we do need relief. We do need to have social spending. The problem, though, is that fiscally the country is in trouble. There isn't money to spend on that. Currently we're spending more money on servicing government debt than we are spending on social services. So social grants are not sustainable. We need something that can get the economy going, can provide social relief to people suffering from hunger. But at the end of the day, we need to give people jobs. That's the only way to get people out of poverty, to address inequality, and to actually eradicate the circumstances that people are facing currently.
Talking about that, the debt levels as well as the debt service costs, where do you think the minister could intervene to actually curb that kind of fiscal framework?
Well, I think costs need to be contained. So that includes the government wage bill. That's also all other luxuries and government spending that does not serve any purpose. Also really curbing fruitless and wasteful expenditure. That is money that's completely wasted because of mismanagement, because of poor financial planning. Then all these infrastructure projects that's halfway completed, money that's spent on contractors who actually exploit government by inflating their prices, that needs to be addressed. We cannot afford to spend R1 more than we should. We can't pay for a bottle of water 50 Rand whilst it should cost 5 Rand. And that's what's currently happening. Contractors and suppliers are exploiting government, and government is allowing that to happen. So you will need to really prioritize the procurement act, the procurement legislation that have been promised by Treasury for a number of years now, that's still not in place. Parliament will have to prioritize that, and will have to get procurement to work better and to avoid these fruitless and wasteful and irregular expenditure.
Lastly, before I let you go, the budget speech will be held just down here at the Good Hope Chamber because of the torching of Parliament last month. Would you expect the Finance Minister to make an additional allocation for the reconstruction of Parliament during his speech?
Well, unfortunately, there will have to be a reconstruction. A country can't not have a parliament. And currently we're spending much more money because of the fact that we don't have a chamber. Today is costing more than it would have cost because of supplies that's brought in from Gauteng to do translation services and supply certain equipment. So we're spending a lot of money because we don't have a chamber. And unfortunately, we're in this dire financial circumstances which does not allow that movement. But for democracy, for oversight, for a functioning legislature, and to in the long term contain these unnecessary expenditure, he will have to find some money to fund the reconstruction.
Mr. Wouter Wessels, thank you so much for your time. He's the spokesperson on finance for the Freedom Front Plus. Desiree will try and give you more political reactions as we edge closer to that budget speech that is scheduled for 2 o'clock this afternoon. For now, it's back to you in studio.